Hello everyone, welcome to Words of Ex-Mormon. I want to talk a little bit today about a story that I'm sure we've all heard. Not a story, but like an object lesson. I have heard this lesson a billion times. Like I can't even count how many times. I'm sure the first time I heard it, I was in primary, and then seminary, and then institute. The one class I took, it was a marriage prep class, and I wasn't even engaged, and I had this lesson. And then also, of course, in Relief Society multiple times, like, over the years, once a year, probably. Anyway, the whole story, the whole concept is you have a jar and it's on the desk and you pour in the sand. Sand is supposed to represent all of the trivial things in life. Phone calls, playing on your phone, wasting time away, hobbies, self-care, literally anything that can be considered frivolous, okay? And then there's like medium-sized rocks, which are things that are a little bit more important, but not necessarily like the most important things. And this usually includes things like childcare, your job, and, driving your kids to lessons, cooking dinner, cleaning your house, those kinds of things. And then there's the big rocks that are the most important things, and that includes the sacrament, attending church, going to the temple, reading your scriptures. Did I say that already? Whatever, it's doubly important. So all of those things, prayer, those kinds of things are the big things. Now, if you put the sand in first, there's not enough room for the other stones. So you're doing all these trivial things and you're not doing the things that you're supposed to do. And so you spend all day playing a game on your phone, and therefore you don't have time to read your scriptures at night. If you're like me and you play, I play this game called June's Journey that I love. It's like a dollhouse for grown-ups. I love it. Anyway, total plug for that. Anyway, maybe they'll endorse me. Maybe they'll sponsor me. Anyway, I like to play that while I'm vegging out in bed before bed. And, if I do that long enough, then I don't have time to read scriptures. And so, the point is that if you put that in, none of the other big things, I might forget to make dinner for my family, which is a medium important thing. So, heaven forbid somebody else do that for me. And that is the whole concept. Now, if you empty out the sand and you put in the big things first, like you get up in the morning and you say your prayer, and you get up early. You have to be early, not in the middle of the day or anything like that, because you might forget about it. You got to do that, and you might be interrupted by your kids or something if you don't get up early to do it. So you read your scriptures, and you make sure that you go to church, and you get your lesson done for church, and you do all these things that you're supposed to. Family home evening, you got to do family home evening and everything. So you do that, and you put in the big things first. Then you can put in the medium-sized ones. The medium-sized ones are the things that you do to take care of your family. You serve your neighbors. You do, ministering, all those things. The things that are still important but less than important, like maybe less important than scriptures and church and stuff like that. You clean your house and those kinds of things. You put those in, and they fill in the cracks a little bit, so they fit in there really well. And then you can pour in the sand. You pour in the sand, and it fills in all of the cracks. And this is where you can work in all of the fun things you want to do. You can work in your video games, and you can work in your writing exercises if you like to write, or you can work in your hobbies, and you can work in your crocheting if you're like me and you like to crochet. You can work those things in after you do all those important things. I'm not going to say that there isn't a value to this lesson as a life lesson in general. What I'm saying is that in church, when we were in church and we had this lesson, it was almost always used as a way to shame women specifically. My husband, my brother, they don't remember ever having these kinds of lessons. Like maybe in seminary, they don't remember as men, as grown men in elders quorum having any kind of object lesson at all. They talked about the topic. They moved on with life. But for women, it is used as a way to shame you out of doing anything fun. I know that's a little bitter. It's a little bit of a bitter explanation for what this means. Honestly though, let's just get it out there on the table. Okay. I remember lots and lots of lessons where we were talking about time management and they use this lesson or any other various ways to kind of give the same impression. They'd use those as a way to kind of be like, well, I don't know how it works out, but every time that I make sure I pray and I say my prayers every morning and I make sure that I read my scriptures right away and I make time for ministering and I'm always at church and I do these things, then everything seems to fit in. And somehow I have enough time to get everything done. Bullshit. No, you don't. Okay? No, you don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the bad words if that offends you. I like bad words. They get me. They express what I want to say. And I say bullshit. Because for me, that was never the way that it was for me. I mean, maybe if your passion is reading scriptures, maybe if your passion is to minister, which has its place and it's wonderful to have a community and everything. And I definitely don't want to downplay that at all, the community aspect of it. If you love being in church every day or every Sunday, that is going to be something that fulfills it for you. But for me, that was not something that was ever like a thing. Like there were lots and lots of times, like, here's the thing. I got put into into Relief Society presidency in October of 2022. I got put in there and I do a lot of musical theater. I love musical theater. My favorite role to date is Snoopy in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I did that in 2021. And when I got put into Relief Society, I missed basically 2 years of shows that I wanted to do and wanted to participate in, but there was no way I was going to be able to do that. Now, some people might think that that's selfish. I don't care. I'm over it. Like, you can think I'm selfish if you want to. That's a whole nother video that I'm absolutely going to do and talk about, because women and selfishness, it doesn't, like, don't even get me started. I won't get started. Anyway, but that's definitely something like I could not work in the things that I wanted to do or that were frivolous or anything like that. And it was very, very taxing on my mental health. And I remember, a lot of people who would say, well, the opposite, where if I didn't do it, if I didn't make it a priority and I didn't get those important things in, then I also didn't have time for anything else anyway. It didn't ever work out and I would end up not doing those things. And so my testimony struggled and, I didn't receive those blessings and everything. And I still didn't get the things in. Look, life is busy. Life is so busy. Friends, family, kids' performances, homework, all the day-to-day things. Life is busy and it is full of stuff. So you're going to be busy whether you're reading the scriptures or not. And really what it's doing is it's prioritizing. And if it's a priority for you and you want to read the scriptures and that's something you're passionate about, absolutely. Like, I get that. But I also think that there is much, much too high a price that comes with it. By the time I left the church, and for the majority of the time that I was in the church, even as a child, I had severe anxiety. And I'm pretty okay with depression. I don't really have depression. I don't suffer from that myself. But absolutely, I was not in a good state of mind where I took care of myself and that I ever had any kind of self-care or rest, relaxation, any of that kind of stuff. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to do silly, frivolous things that serve no other purpose than making you happy. And that is absolutely one of those big rocks in place of scripture reading sometimes, in place of family home evening sometimes. Sometimes maybe your family just needs to go on a hike together or play a game night or something like that and just not worry about a lesson. That's okay too. Sometimes the important thing is for you to take your phone and sit and play Candy Crush for 2.5 hours and forget to make dinner. Sometimes that is what it is. In church, it's always about don't waste time. I remember one person who was and I very, very much respect her. As always, I always say this, I respect the people that I talk about. I'm not going to give names or anything like that. I definitely respect her. But she was saying that in one of the lessons that she was giving as a Relief Society president, that one of the gifts that she received, one of the blessings that she received, was that she was able to prioritize her time. And it taught her what things were not useful and what things were frivolous and what things were really important to get done, which meant that she was like, I would be playing a video game on my phone, playing some stupid game, and I would be like, oh no, this is a waste of my time. Look, I'm sorry, waste your time. Waste it. I mean, yeah, like if you're spending all day, every day playing on your phone and you're ignoring everybody or whatever, like for days on end, like anything, it can become toxic. Okay. It can be. But if you spend a weekend and you're like, dude, I don't want to do anything today. I just want to lie in bed and I want to scroll through Facebook. Do it. Then get up the next day and make dinner for your family and do your job and be involved in everything like that. Sometimes it's important to veg out on the couch and do that. If that becomes all you do, maybe not so much, but otherwise find something frivolous, find something to waste your time, find something you enjoy that is totally and completely inconsequential and doesn't do anybody any good just because you just enjoy it. That's my spiel for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to send me a message anonymously, my email is brae.wordsofexmormon@gmail.com. Feel free to like, share, comment, leave a little thing about what you think about my little opinion there. And I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.